What's up, guys? So Coach Jake here again, and today I wanted to talk about not really a technique but a question that I get asked a lot, which is, should I put my kids in jiu-jitsu? And I want to talk about this a little bit and kind of go down the rabbit hole. But before we jump into that, guys, make sure you go check out Bighorn Athletic. Bighorn Athletic is sponsoring this video. They sent me some awesome finger tape and this super cool shirt. Iron sharpens iron. It's really awesome. Bighorn Athletic, great guys. Make sure you go check them out. I'm going to put a link right down in the bio. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Now, a question I get a lot is, should I put my kids in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and BJJ? And I kind of think maybe. So the thing that we're really looking for are, what are your goals with your child? Like, do you want them to really learn how to defend themselves? Do you want them to really learn a skill that is very specific and very important for the rest of your life? Now, I think that if that's something that interests you and that your kid would be interested in, then absolutely, I see no problem with that at all. Now, I do see a whole spectrum of children, from super shy kids to kids that maybe need a little help with anger issues and bullying problems. But generally across the board, what I see is a 6-month transformation. I believe that jiu-jitsu and training in a real martial art is something that is gonna shift the kid. Like, what I see when a shy kid comes in, right? And I am a professional kids coach, right? I take care of all the kids classes here at my school. And what I really see with shy kids is it takes about 6 months, but day one, maybe they're not talking to anybody, they're very quiet, very reserved, and maybe they make a friend, or like, we have to make sure we match them with somebody who they can vibe with and really have a good time with. But then a month goes by, and I notice that same kid, walking a little bit different in the room. Maybe their shoulders are back, their chest is up a little bit more, right? They're looking around, and now they're able to talk to other kids as well. And I see a massive shift between month 1 and month 6, where it's almost a completely different kid. It's somebody who's more confident and has more faith in their abilities to not only do jiu-jitsu, but to defend themselves if they have to. And I have tons of kids that come in and they're like, oh, Coach Jake, somebody at school tried to punch me today, and I just wanted him to stop hitting me, so I put him on the ground and then just held him there until the teachers came. And I wasn't in trouble, but I didn't punch the kid even once, but I had to use my jiu-jitsu. I'm really sorry, Coach Jake. And I'm like, hey, you know what? You did the right thing. End of the day, we do not train kids to be violent. A lot of people think that we, teach kids how to break arms and put people to sleep and choke them to death, but we really don't. Any good martial arts instructor is not going to teach you to go be a brawler in the street. They're going to teach you how to be a warrior in a garden, right? If anyone remembers that old adage, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Now, the thing about it is, as far as who should be in jiu-jitsu, I think that, the shy kid to the bully. Oh, we didn't go down the rabbit hole of bullies. But bullies, I tend to see them get smashed by, like, that same shy kid. And then they kind of bring it back a little bit to where everyone meets right here in the middle. And it kind of equalizes them and then elevates them. Now, I do have a particular skill set where I work exceptionally well with special needs cases, like kids with ADHD or even autism, and I've even had certain students with mental retardation, like Down syndrome and stuff like that. The thing about it, though, is that I think jiu-jitsu is not for everybody. It's for almost everybody, but at a certain point, if self-harm is in the picture, or if I've seen certain cases of kids on the spectrum with autism that maybe they punch people around them, or they punch themselves, or they kind of have these violent outbursts, my personal belief is that it would be irresponsible to teach this kid how to use their body more efficiently and be more deadly, because I just don't know. I'm not a licensed professional in special needs cases. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what you would call that, but somebody who works with professional special needs kids. But I do work well with special needs kids. So generally, if a kid with like Asperger's or something like that comes into the gym, I go with that kid and kind of hold their hand and guide them through the entire experience. And I noticed for a lot of kids, it massively helps them not only develop social skills, but develop their physicality, and on top of that, their confidence as well. Now, I work for Gracie Baja, and our motto is jujitsu for everybody. Like I said, right now though, please don't get mad at me, Master Carlos, but I believe that jujitsu is for almost everybody. There are some people who really they're never going to be interested, or it's never going to click with them, or it would be irresponsible to teach them. Now, that being said, I have seen kids come in and the parents will be like, "Oh, my kid keeps fighting at school. He's a total bully. We don't know what to do with him." I was even questioning coming here today, and I'm like, "Hey, look, just I'm gonna put your son. Usually it's a son. I'm gonna put your son with little Isabel over there, and just watch what happens." And then the mom gets nervous. "Oh man, I hope Isabel's gonna be okay." Blah 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 blah. And Isabel, right? She's gonna smash that kid, and that kid's gonna be like, one of two things is gonna happen where the parents are either gonna see, "Oh, my kid just got smashed, and he kind of that brought him down a peg, so now he's probably not gonna bully the little girl anymore," or B, that kid's gonna look in and be like, "What does Isabel know that I don't know, and what do I have to do to learn it?" And generally, what I see happen is that bully kid kind of gets knocked down a couple pegs, and then becomes more social, right? A lot of times bullying comes from a lack of sociability and disagreeableness, and getting your ego checked by somebody who is supposed to be smaller and weaker than you. Really, I noticed that put a lot of kids in a more healthy headspace. Now, after that, I think the benefits that a lot of kids get from being in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, like you get health for one, right? Your body is going to change. You're not just sitting around playing Fortnite anymore. You're going to be going in and sorry, I'm getting text messages on my phone. You're going to be going in and using your body in effective ways and very cool exercises. On top of that, we do mandatory 20 push-ups, mandatory 40 squats, 40 jumping jacks, right? We warm up, right? And that's using your body in a way that most kids don't use in a week, in one day, in 15 minutes, And then we go into jiu-jitsu and we learn how to do our techniques. And then you use your body and you get strong from that. So your physicality changes. And usually when your physicality changes, your mentality changes as well. And I think the most important thing that I ever learned from jiu-jitsu wasn't how to break arms, and it wasn't how to choke people, and it wasn't how to throw people on the ground. What the most important lesson I learned from jiu-jitsu was actually mindset. And the mindset really has helped me in all other aspects of my life. So the thing about this mindset is that it's kind of a great metaphor for life. And I think combat sports are a perfect metaphor, because one way or another, right? If I'm going with Johnny, if Johnny's making me uncomfortable, if he's put me in a position that's bad for me, right? There's no way out except to figure it out, right? I need to solve this. No one is going to come solve it for me. I have to do it myself. And it really shows you what you're really capable of, And even if Johnny holds you down day one, by month 6, Johnny's going to have a lot of trouble keeping you on the ground, right? Because now you know more, you have more experience, right? And that shows you kind of the extent of your own abilities, right? And it shows you how to push past them. Now, on top of that, right, the mindset is sick, but now we have a couple of concerns. And something that parents ask me all the time is, are we training kids to be violent? And like I said before, guys, it better be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. But no, I generally see a lot of kids that come in are less violent than normal kids on the playground. Like we get out violent tendencies and aggressive energy in a safe, controlled environment, and because of that, when they go back into the real world, I noticed that a lot of them aren't just starting fights with every single person. And it's an interesting question that I had with my father a couple months ago, was that he said, Jake, you teach children how to break arms and how to choke people unconscious, and they don't know if they choke somebody long enough they can die, right? And that's all true. That's very true. But at the same time, because we do it in such a controlled way, and we really hammer home, you do not use jujitsu unless you have to. If you have to use it, you made the mistake a long time ago. You made so many mistakes getting to the point where you had to use your jujitsu that you're going to be in trouble with me. I will not be happy with you if you come to me and say, Coach Jake, I want a street fight. I want a street fight. I'm going to be more upset that you even were in a situation where you got yourself into a street fight. And a lot of my kids or my students are like, well, but Coach Jake, you're a pro fighter. You teach people how to fight every day. And I'm like, yes. And because of that, I expect you to know the extent of violence and why you should not do it. When you have a more familiar relationship with violence, you kind of understand why you don't want to go there and where it leads to. And I find that a lot of fighters know where violence leads to, and that's why they avoid violence almost at all costs. Now, don't get me wrong, you could find a video right now of some MMA fighter knocking some dude out for, reason A to Z, right? But generally across the board, what I notice with a lot of pro fighters that I know, and even just longtime practitioners, is they do avoid violence at almost all costs, right? Now, before we get off, I do want to recommend a couple of books that I think are massively beneficial for me, and I think that your kids will like them too, because these are kid-friendly books. Now, the first one is pretty stereotypical, but it's called The Way of the Warrior Kid by Jocko Willenick. Now, I don't just love The Way of the Warrior Kid because the guiding figure, right, on this hero's journey, his name is Uncle Jake, which I think is totally dope. I feel like I actually am Uncle Jake for a lot of students and a lot of people in my own family, right? I kind of help guide them to develop themselves more and not be afraid of, just going in the yard and wrestling with your cousins. I think that's a really important thing to do, especially for young men, right? Just grab your cousins, go wrestle in the front yard. That's totally fine. My brothers did it to me, and I do that to my nephews and nieces as well. I'll probably do that to my kids. But yeah, The Way of the Warrior Kid, it really is a perfect diagram of the jiu-jitsu journey. And it's not entirely about the jiu-jitsu journey, but it is about overcoming fear. It is about doing things and getting better at doing things that previously made you uncomfortable. Jiu-jitsu is uncomfortable. It is not fun to get smashed by some big dude in the mount position, right? But you're going to learn how to handle yourself and get get more comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And when you get that comfort and familiarity with uncomfortableness, you're going to be able to push past it. So in the book, right, the kid can't swim, the kid gets bullied, and the kid can't do pull-ups, right? There's 3 pretty big things that he gets made fun of for at school. Wow, my thumb does that weird thing. Comment if your thumb does that too. Yeah, both might do that. And Uncle Jake kind of pushes the little boy. I think his name's like Rob or some shit like that. Some stuff like that. Sorry, kid-friendly. He pushes him to be better. He's like, oh, you can't do pull-ups? Good, we can fix that, right? Oh, you get bullied? Good, we can fix that. And he brings the kid into jiu-jitsu. And over the course of one summer, the little boy goes from not knowing anything and getting beat up by Thor, right, to then knowing how to armbar bigger kids and take people down. And then, in turn, stand up for himself when he does encounter that bully at a later point in the story. And that's something that I think is massively beneficial, is we don't choose to fight, but if you have to fight, you're not afraid of it. If you're afraid in a fight and very emotional, it's gonna be bad. You're not gonna handle yourself well. Whereas if you have confidence, okay, I might get punched today. That's gonna suck, but I'm gonna put this guy on the ground and I'm gonna hold him down until a teacher can come help me. Having the confidence to be able to do that, and just knowing that's in the back of your head and knowing you could do that, is going to help you be better off in situations. When you stand up to your bully as a child, you're going to stand up to your bullies as an adult. If you take it as a child, right, you're probably going to be giving into bullies as an adult too. And you're setting your kids up for a lifetime of submissiveness and negativity getting taken advantage of, because they can't recognize when somebody is trying to bully them because they back down at every point. So I'm not saying go fight all your bullies. What I am saying is, if you can instill the confidence to stand up, then that is a lesson that, money can't buy. You know what I mean? Like, that is more valuable than all the gold in the world. The next one, and one that my dad gave to me when I was 8 years old, is called the Hagakure. Hagakure. And the Hagakure is basically like a book of proverbs by the samurais, the book of the samurai, and how they lived their life and the code that they lived and died by. And I think the Hagakure definitely changed my mindset and my framework around how I really look at a lot of things. You know what I mean? So Hagakure is a great book to get into and kind of just read like maybe 1 or 2 passages a day, but like definitely just checking it out. Now, another one I think all kids should be familiar with is The Art of War. The Art of War, right? They're probably not going to understand it at age 7, but if they have those words in their heads kind of cooking around there, by the time they get to like 13, right? If they've gone over it a couple times, by the time they're 13, 14, 15, it kind of makes sense. And I think The Art of War is such a massively influential book because it applies to everything. Like I said earlier in the video, combat and combat sports are a perfect metaphor for your life. And The Art of War by Sun Tzu kind of gives you a framework that you can work inside of and set yourself up for victory in all other aspects of life. In Japanese business schools, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Japanese business school, it's mandatory reading. You have to read The Art of War before you graduate your university, right? Art of War is incredible, and if you look at it from a different perspective, not on a battlefield, but in your life or in the dojo or in jiu-jitsu, right? Something like that, you can still use the lessons that Sun Tzu teaches and apply it to your own life, to your own day-to-day life, and find great success in doing that, right? So I think the earlier somebody can read The Art of War, the better. The last one, and it's kind of one that's very special to my heart, is the Pink Gi book by Judo Jean LaBelle. I think that if you are going to go into jiu-jitsu, having this book and looking at the pictures and maybe reading a couple of the passages was massively beneficial. Now, I love judo, and I'm a very judo-heavy player, and I think that has no coincidence that my dad got me Jean LaBelle's Pink Gi judo book when I was like 5, right? Massively influential book on me. We even met Jean LaBelle at a martial arts conference. Super influential to me. I just threw that in there because this is one I had as a young man, and it definitely helped me learn a lot of judo throws at a young age that I now apply in my professional career. So my career as a coach, my career as a fighter, my career as a competitor, right? I think it's very, very important. So I hope that kind of helps you decide whether or not signing your kids up for jiu-jitsu is going to help them in the long run. Like I said, barring kids who are on the spectrum and have violent tendencies or even psychopathic or something like that, maybe not good for them. But for almost all other kids, if you want them to have a sense of community, if you want them to increase their physicality, if you want them to have the confidence to stand up for themselves throughout their entire life, right, then I think that signing up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, go finding a good gym, is going to be a massive benefit in the long run. Now, I could talk about finding the right coach, and definitely you want to find the right coach. Every coach here at this school is a certified professional. We have to take annual tests. We have to get certified just like any other job. If you're forklift certified, you got to recert every how often. We're certified. We have background checks. We are all AED and CPR registered. So just make sure the school you go to has background checks. They're a good person. There are a lot of really bad people in martial arts communities. Let's just be real. there are some pretty terrible people. But at the end of the day, if you find the right school and a coach that you really vibe with, then I think that you will have a very positive experience. I'm gonna get out of here for now. Comment below if you want to talk to me about anything. I'm gonna go through that, read there, and I'll talk to you there. Peace.